Have you ever seen someone who just seems to have it all figured out? Maybe killing it at work, super skilled.
Yeah. Or they just have this air of confidence.
Exactly. And you find yourself thinking less about like their actual talent and more about how you could get that same spotlight, that feeling of, if I just had that, people would finally notice me.
Oh, yeah. That's totally the man in the car paradox, isn't it, from the book?
Right.
You see the flashy car, the external symbol, and you fixate on that because, well, deep down, maybe you want that kind of attention, that external validation.
It's like benchmarking yourself against others, but driven by ego, wanting admiration.
And it happens everywhere, not just driving, not just trading. It's a really human thing.
Which tells you straight away, high performance. It's not just about the skills you learn or the plans you make. It runs much deeper. It's about your inner game.
And that's exactly what we're digging into today. We're pulling out some key ideas from Steven Goldstein's book, Mastering the Mental Game of Trading.
Now, don't let that title put you off if you're not a trader.
Not at all. Well, the examples, yeah, they come from trading. The principles he talked about navigating your own internal world, unlocking your potential, they're universal.
Absolutely. These insights are for you, whatever you do. So
Right.
Our mission here is to kind of extract those core nuggets.
And Goldstein knows his stuff. He was a trader for decades, then became a performance coach. So he has this, really practical viewpoint.
He frames performance through what he calls the 3 Ps: purpose, presence, and process.
Right. Purpose is your why. Presence is being fully engaged right here, right now. And process is your repeatable method, your playbook.
And the book isn't really about giving you a magic formula. It's more like holding up a mirror, helping you become more aware of who you really are versus how you're actually acting or showing up.
Yeah, raising that self-awareness. And the stories he uses, they really drive it home. It's kind of amazing how often our own ego gets in the way.
Oh, definitely. That part of us that just craves praise and validation.
And avoids anything that feels like a threat to its image.
And that ego can completely sabotage perfectly rational thinking, derail your whole process.
Like that story about Tony and the Bitcoin trade?
Oof. Painful example, right?
Yeah.
He was making money, but then the market turned against him.
And his ego just couldn't handle giving back those profits, couldn't stand being wrong.
So instead of following his own risk rules, his process, he just threw them out.
Worse than that, he actually increased his position size after the profits vanished, pure ego trying to, force a win or avoid the loss.
And the end result, lost over $1 million. Just devastating.
Or think about Susanna. She'd been fired. And that wound to her ego, it completely hijacked her sense of purpose in her next role. She wasn't focused on the job itself.
She was focused on what? Fixing her reputation.
Exactly. Proving people wrong. And her performance tanked until she finally realized what was driving her and got back in alignment with her actual role.
Wow. Okay, so the ego is this constant potential saboteur. How do you, push back against it?
Well, one huge theme in the book is shifting your focus. Moving away from obsessing over the outcome.
And focusing instead on the process.
Precisely. High performers tend to be process-oriented. Think about Bryan Cranston, the actor.
From Breaking Bad.
Yeah. He spoke about how early on, auditions were all about the outcome, desperately needing to get the part.
A lot of pressure.
Totally. So he made a conscious shift. He decided to focus only on the process of delivering the best, most authentic performance he could right there in the room. Whether he got the job or not became secondary.
And he credits that shift for changing his whole career.
He does. It freed him up to actually perform. It's a powerful contrast to resulting.
Resulting.
Yeah.
That's judging a decision purely based on how it turned out, right? Like in poker or trading.
Exactly. You make a good decision based on your process and the info you had, but you get unlucky bad outcome. Resulting means you then think it was a bad decision.
Which is so damaging, it makes you doubt your sound strategy just because of randomness.
Right. So sticking to your process, the one guided by your purpose, supported by presence that's your anchor, especially when things feel uncertain or chaotic.
Okay, but sticking to a process means you need to know what that process is. And maybe even more crucial, know what internal stuff might make you deviate from it.
Yeah.
How do you get that kind of clarity about yourself?
And that brings us right to self-awareness. It's fundamental. Knowing yourself is the bedrock for unlocking potential.
So how do you cultivate that?
The book really champions journaling as a tool, like a mirror for self-reflection.
A mirror that sometimes shows you things you don't really want to see.
Exactly. It can be uncomfortable. It might highlight patterns or tendencies you'd rather ignore or reject.
But facing that discomfort, that's where the growth happens, isn't it?
Absolutely. Goldstein suggests a really simple method, 3-3-1.
Okay, what's that?
At the end of your day, or maybe your week, you just jot down 3 things you did well, then 3 things you could improve on.
And the one.
And then you pick one specific thing from the improving list to really focus on changing soon.
Huh. Simple, but forces honesty.
It does. It makes you look at your patterns, identify what's happening, and then choose one concrete action. And often, what that journal reveals the thing that feels hardest to accept about yourself.
That's the key.
That's often the very thing. What stands in the way becomes the way. Recognizing the obstacle is the first step to overcoming it.
So, pulling this all together,
Mhm.
for you listening right now, whatever challenges you're facing, work, creative projects, personal growth, the real battle often starts inside.
Yeah, getting to know and even value your true self, the one underneath the ego's noise and anxiety that's foundational.
Because the world, and sometimes our own ego, is always trying to push us towards being something else, chasing external validation.
Right, chasing outcomes that might not even align with who we truly are.
So here's a final thought to chew on. What's one small thing you can do today, just one step, to maybe look in that internal mirror a bit more honestly?
Mm-hmm. To connect with that deeper, more capable you and bring that version, not the ego-driven one, to whatever performance, whatever challenge you're facing next.